Well, good morning. We are here at Seminole Canyon and it is incredibly windy. Seminole Canyon is here in Texas, southern Texas, right near the Mexican border. And I'm going to be taking a tour here of some pictographs, I believe, but I guess we'll find out. The area down here was apparently has human habitation going back 10,000 years. And the rock art here, I think they've dated between 4,000 and 8,000 years ago. I do want to talk about the name Seminole Canyon, because here we are in Texas, about 1,000 miles away from the Seminole Indians. But apparently this area is well known for having the Seminole African Scouts, or Black Seminole Scouts, referred to both ways, which helped with the Indian Wars, protecting in Mexico first, and then they moved up here into Texas. So I'm going to head in and we're going to take a look. So while I wait for the tour, thought I'd just make a quick trip around here inside the visitor center. So I guess this is the type of rock art that we'll be seeing. And this is the Pecos River style. What? Maybe don't have to walk all that way down the trail. These are pretty cool. And one of the things they have is a large panther pictograph. The cave it's in is only accessible along the river, and that's controlled by the National Park System out of Olmsted Reservoir. And you actually take a boat to the cave. All right, well, I think it's time for me to probably go out and get my tour.
The observation deck, and if we could walk straight off this cliff, drop down 250 feet, bounce back 100, we'd be there. But that is not an option. It is a walking tour, so plan about an hour to an hour and a half. With the wind, I will not be stopping at the statue, so I'll briefly talk about it right here. As soon as we get up the observation deck, there is a 13-foot statue created by Bill Worrell, who got his inspiration while kayaking the Pecos River, which is about 1.5 miles to the west. And if you look closely at his stomach, there's like a belt. I used to call it a girdle, but it's a belt. And it does have other images with pictographs carved in there.
Well, as you can tell, it's really windy and we have to walk down. Apparently it's about a 250-foot drop to the bottom of the canyon, which will be fun walking back up. I guess we're going to this cave over this way, which is sort of under the visitor center. And the visitor center up there. Well, this will be fun coming up. So this is what we just came down.
So real quickly, if you were to go back in time to about 100 million years ago, this part of the continent was under the Western Interior Seaway. So the creatures that had lived here had soft bodies, hard shells. When they died, they sank to the bottom and over time became finally crushed up, layered, and compacted into the limestone. So you're standing on an ancient seabed, and when the waters receded, the drying up of the land, all one level, with a small hairline fracture to the north, start of the canyon throughout time. With rain, wind became deeper, and the deepest is where it meets the Rio Grande to the south of us. Never was and never will be a continuous flow of water, so it's not a river, stream, creek, or creek. But when we do get enough rain, we watch it come down and then a trickle. I've seen it as high as 14 feet, which would be about to the base of the railing. And just as soon as it stops raining, it goes back into the lower parts of the canyon and becomes water pockets. And the sun helps evaporate it, dries it up, leave behind little dust particles. And over time, that process of rain and wind just creating this a deeper canyon. So, any questions on the making of the canyon? Okay, all right, let's continue on.
The wind has turned around, but gotta walk up into this cave here, so let's go do it.
Now, this is the Fate Belt Annex, which is a branch off of the shelter that we will be going to. It's considered like a closet, and you can see that Linfield and Maynard were here in June of 1884. Which during that time period is when the Southern Pacific Railroad was being constructed through this part of Texas. It is considered historic where it cannot be removed. In that general area where you can see some splotches, graffiti removal team had to be employed. Then the floor about 4,000 years ago was up there. And then when you look at the upper wall to mid-ceiling, those are the lower Paco style. Radiocarbon dated to be 4,000 years old or 2,000 years before Christ. We're not sure who these ancient folks were, and we have not found a Rosetta Stone that tells us what these drawings mean, so it's very open to interpretation. There's a research group based out of Comstock called Shumla, and they have been studying these for about 25 years. And they believe that these have a connection to some tribes of Mexico, such as the Huichol. Now, they don't claim the Huichol claim these, they just say there is a connection to them. Here, it is named the Bulletin Board site because if you actually step back to the next level, it will allow you to see those a lot better.
It's a very cool honeycombed rock here right next to the stairs.
And the pictographs are within a 50-mile radius. We're a center point. We have 260 sites in Val Verde County, and then about 43 sites have been documented in the northern part of it.
Little petroglyphs we pass and no note. Let me catch up to my tour.
First professional archaeology excavation was 1932, where the University of Texas was given about a month's worth of dig time, and they chose this section where they dug down about 8 feet to the original limestone floor. And exposed in front of us, plant material, woven leaves, stems, sleeping mats. Why sleep in dirt when you can sleep on a mat? Other art items found were sandals and baskets, items used for everyday survival. Archaeologists term this a midden, or how to put it nicely in modern day terms, a garbage pit. That wall, the lower part is pictograph on top of pictograph. Cameras and binoculars, you're able to zoom in, get a crisp image. Then at eye level. Then above us. Starting to use different color paints. White, yellows. It's our little claim to fame, the most photographed panel for the Fate Belt Tour. And as you can see, there are at least 4 human and animal-like figures. There is a figure there. A winged figure, the head is round ears, the antlers. Figure there, and a figure there. look at their feet, you'll notice that they are human-like, half toes, and are facing certain directions. Those feet are pointing down the canyon. Those feet are literally underneath, saying being in the middle. Those feet also pointing down canyon, and those feet are pointing up canyon. If we could pop this panel off in 3D, it would look like they're in a circle. This possibly is telling of a ceremony. Which one? We honestly do not know. When you take from wingtip to wingtip, let's split it down the middle, put the two wings together like a paper doll, and you'll notice that it's even. Check this out.
These are just down from that big main panel. Looks like we have a circle up there and a humanistic humanoid figure here in the center. Probably some others. This long lines here on the right, just worn away. Looks like there might be a sunburst inside that circular part of the rock. Looks like a fairly tall figure right there. Then over here, we have another. Looks like they followed the swirls of the rock almost. Then another faded one right in there. Yeah, I'm walking out of the canyon here at the Fate Bell Pictographs area. And this afternoon, we just were informed here before we came in that the winds are supposed to pick up maybe to 35 to 50 miles an hour. And I don't know if that's going to be through the night, but we're going to be rocking and rolling in the camper over here for one more night. And that's going to be interesting.